I was introduced to MSM by a past mentor, immediately went out and bought a bunch of books on MSM and DMSO. MSM and DMSO interconvert with one another. And in fact, DMSO, from what I understand, what it actually does in the body is convert into MSM. And the main difference between MSM and DMSO is that DMSO can go straight through the skin and any other membrane of the body. Now, the reason that's something you need to be very careful with is that it means that DMSO will suck anything on the skin into the body. You've got toxins on the skin, it'll pull them into the body. You've got poisons.
It'll actually, I've seen it suck ink out of the like people's jeans into their skin.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's pretty, whatever's there is going in.
So you need to be aware of that. Now, that means that DMSO can supercharge your delivery of therapeutics, by which I mean you want to get aspirin, you want to get, an oil, like something like oil of wintergreen, or you want to get something into the body fast. Not that I'm recommending that. DMSO is your ticket.
Iodine?
Iodine, anything. But that's playing with fire. The reason why your body's got all these barriers is that it doesn't want these things to move too fast.
You better make sure it's sterile.
Why do I use MSM? DMSO is not really being produced for human consumption here in the United States. I believe this one has sold as a solvent only. The choice of the intended use is at the sole discretion of the user. That's lawyer speak for, we don't make this for humans, people. Now, Jim likes to say if it's good enough for $1 million racehorse, it's good enough for Jim Laird. I'll leave that.
That's the old Jim Laird. That's a different person.
I'll leave that one for your consideration, okay? But this is not a crash course in how to use DMSO. And here's why I don't use DMSO. It's so powerful. It's so potent. Would I use that potentially in like a laboratory, or not a laboratory, a clinical setting? Like I'm monitoring the patient, I'm using it for injections, I'm applying something topically? Sure, I might. I don't see a lot of people in person, so that hasn't come up. Here's why I love MSM. MSM, like I said, DMSO converts into MSM in the body. MSM has some methyl groups, and it has some, it has sulfur, obviously. The sulfur and the methyl groups are highly available, which means that they can be incorporated into the body, into the body's tissues, into the body's cells. And this does two things for people. Number one, the methyl groups feed into methylation and wind up supercharging things like energy, cognition, focus, mental agility, retention, so like what you retain in terms of your memories and short-term memory. MSM is just like a supercharge supplement for performance. It also tends to help soften the body. So sulfur is a large part of what makes the body kind of soft and supple. That might sound strange, but literally as sulfur content in the body declines with age, you see people becoming more brittle, more atherosclerotic, more sclerotic, more osteoporotic. They just get kind of more stiff and brittle. And that's partly because they don't have enough sulfur still in the body. This also tends to lend itself to then aches and pains, and joint pains can go away. And the other thing is that it will cause the body to absorb things better. So what will happen is people will notice that if we're giving them iodine or vitamin C or whatever, the MSM will help it penetrate the body's cells and tissues to a greater degree, and they'll feel greater effects, more profound, stronger effects from it. So that's a big win for people when we use that. I wind up using the MSM protocol in everyone because of the profound benefits and results that we see. I don't start with it. And I don't start with it because, number one, you really need other foundational building blocks of life in play and in balance in the body before you start driving in sulfur. It's not one of the first or most foundational elements on the periodic table. The other thing is you'll find that people tend to start detoxing with high doses of this. Some of that may be inadequate sulfur metabolism pathways. That goes back to their fundamental nutritional status. If you fix their nutrition, you can generally fix their sulfur allergies or intolerances. And the reason I use this protocol in everyone at some point is that some people, it's just a game changer. A lot of their pain goes away, a lot of their fatigue goes away, a lot of their mental fogginess, brain fog, lack of focus, lack of energy just disappear with MSM. And you can use it over and over and over again. So how do I use it? Once someone's got the fundamentals that we talk about online in play, once they're taking a nutritional balancing supplementation protocol, once they're gaining some traction, making some progress, I'm open to adding the MSM protocol to the mix. And the way that we use it is, and this is something people miss with MSM. So MSM is usually sold as capsules because people are used to taking capsules. The problem with capsules of MSM is that you have to take, or you have to get up to 10, 15, 20 grams of MSM a day in order to really see a profound effect. When I do MSM, I put about 18 to 21 grams into a large jar of water or jug of water. I shake it up, and then I'll consume that sometimes in just an afternoon. I'm not advocating that for anyone, for the record, because the truth is that people who are sensitive to MSM, you have to find out who they are. And that's why we taper people up on it. We have a protocol that we share with people. Generally speaking, it's you start with drops, then you go to teaspoons, then you go to tablespoons, then you go to ounces. And at the end of that protocol, you're generally on 4 ounces and when I say ounces and teaspoons and tablespoons, you make a solution. You dissolve, I recommend dissolving 1 gram of MSM per ounce of water. So what that looks like is you put 20 ounces or 21 ounces, let's say, of water into a bottle, and then you add 21 grams of MSM. I happen to have on my desk this jar of MSM, which has a 3-gram scoop. You could also use a food grade scale. So you figure out how much you've added. 1 gram per ounce is a good amount. And then you use this titration scale or schedule that we have generated in the protocol in order to increase the doses. And these protocols are available at Stillman Wellness. They're available at my Substack, stillmanmd.substack.com, and for premium subscribers.